So I'm actually, concerned about those who are involved in historical revisionism. Those who try to probably change the history the way it is, just in favor of one or the other. Based on my understanding, I understand that the Alaafin of Oyo, talk about the empire at the time between the 16th to 18th century.
Yeah.
And then Ibadan actually rose, to prominence in the 19th century after the collapse of the Oyo Empire at the time, having the military, might and controlling the largest, area when it comes to the current, situation. The Ooni of Ife, the Ile-Ife, that's our origin as a Yoruba person, the spiritual, significance and all of that. But looking at the current situation of the Oyo Assembly, recently amending the law to introduce a rotational chairmanship of the Oyo Council of Obas.
Yeah.
And the Alaafin wasn't there. The Oyo State government saying that he only wants to make sure that it is representative and in congruent with current reality, current dispensation, especially when there is nothing of such as empire as we used to have. So there is no longer emperor or the place that you control.
Yeah.
How do you, position this? Because the Alaafin said they didn't consult him, and the forth and back regarding the position of the government on the rotational Obaship Council. You see, the chairmanship of the Obas.
The reality here is, this is not new. Let us say it for what it is. And whatever happens today already had historical trajectory where it's coming from. Don't forget one thing. In 1937 and what have you, the meetings between the Yoruba, within the leading Yoruba Obas, the first one was done in Oyo, and then after that, Abeokuta, then you went to, then they went to Ijebu-Ode, went to Benin and what have you. There were 5 of them. Oni, that was Oba Adesoji Areremi, Alake, that's Oba Ladakwa Ademola, Oba, the Awujale of Ijebu land, Oba Daniel Adesanya also, and you had Alaafin Ladigbolu and the Oba of Benin. Even at that time, they all agreed that the Oni would lead them.
Spiritually? Or politically?
For the meeting.
Okay.
In all their meetings. And all the places they went to have those meetings, the Oni was the chairman. That's one. And if anybody started talking about Awolowo did this, Awolowo was still young then, and he was not even within the political setting, not holding any major thing. Anyway, he was still able to do that kind of thing. So, in a way, that had been there. So how come Alaafin Ladigbolu did not make an issue then? But I digress. Now, when it comes to the issue of Oyo State Council of Obas, like I said, when Oba Kwande Shijuade came to the throne after the exit of Kabiyesi,
Oba Adesoji
Aderemi, Tadeni Baba, then some things started coming up. And where the Alaafin then asked some others that they should support him, that the rotational chairmanship must take place. Before then, there was no rotation. Oni was the chairman for the old Oyo State. But Alaafin then gathered a few others and said, we must push for rotation. And by history, we all also realized that at a particular meeting that they were to have in the House of Chiefs, the Olubadan then, the then Olubadan, Oba Olode Ashanke, I remember him very well, sat on the chairman's seat. Possibly by instigation, whatever it may be. And Oni came in, saw what was going on, and he turned back. And he never attended any other meeting of the whatever at that point. Because they were asking for rotation. Because at that point, Seun Ogbomosho, Olubadan, if I remember very well, you also had the Owa Obokun of Ijesha land, Oba Adekunle Aromolaran then, and the Orogun of Ila, of Ila. They were all there as part of that. There must be rotation and what have you. So, in a way, that happened until the old Oyo State was now separated into Oyo and Osun. And of course, in Osun, both Owa and Orogun of Ila could not really look at Odi and say, Baba, we want to share this with you. But in Oyo State, The others who were supporting the Alaafin then now came up and said, since we were already talking about rotation must take place. You see where that problem came from. And so in a way, it became a major problem. And for years after that, there was a kind of interregnum where there was not even a meeting until it's now being reconstituted. And then don't forget at the same time that the Oyo State House of Assembly has already legislated rotation. This is you see, when it comes to the issue of empire or no empire, we must realize that the dynamics of the modern environment has changed a lot of things. Even Britain will not come out and say, I used to be the hegemonic empire. And so America, shut up, come to me. I used to be your colonial master. It's not going to
even with these foreign trust that they have.
It's not going to be possible. So everybody plays smart around, around certain things. So sometimes even you used to be the power. But where I come from, they say one thing. Nobody moves away from the road for somebody who had a horse yesterday. Like if I'm permitted to say Yoruba, which means that you used to be great yesterday. Yes, that's good. But today, things are different. So let's not live in that past glory of I used to be this. Because the reality is, if we want to start talking about that, and we now want to look at that incident of those issues of those years, in today's terms, then some people will not like what's going to come out of it. Because reality is this. The old Oyo Empire itself, actually, if we look at it really, really, in today's terminologies, went into terrorism and banditry against their own people, their brothers and what have you. Let us say it for what it is. Because that is what empires will do. Force of power. Force people to come and to pay obeisance to you, to give you this. So, in a way, the days of empires are gone. We must understand that. And legislation is here now. Government is saying this and that. And now if the governor said, I had consulted, even if he did not consult fully, you must understand the language of diplomacy and leadership. So if he has said that, he has only probably could have said that to also honor even Alaafin himself as Kabiyesi. But in the first instance, how come Kabiyesi was not in that? Because that meeting, that council inauguration was not representative. Almost all the Obas were there, because I saw Adenugba, I saw a whole lot of others there. So if one of the three, the triumvirate, was unavoidably absent, there must be a reason. And that reason must be stated to the state government. So for whatever it is, we must Oyo needs to be careful to play things right. Because the reality is, like I said in a particular space, I said, Oloyo, that's Alaafin, must understand. Because I use that Oloyo because of the use of Yoruba, whatever. Oloyo must understand that Ileyo. The ground is slippery. So we must play things right. Something happened before. Alaafin, Adeyemi second, had an issue that led to an exit. So we must be careful, because we're in the days of political leadership.
I'm conscious of the time.
Not monarchical leadership today. So monarchy works with us. We try to work with monarchy the same way the British work with the British monarchy today.
Yeah,
Give them